Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Welcome into Sports Tonight. Bailey Burmaster joined alongside our digital producer, Ellie Parker. We have quite a show for you. We're going to talk about the Pro Bowl a little bit because I think there were some snubs, so we'll get into that. We also have Ryan Schmidt, who is the College Park Skyhawks head coach, mic'd up in a practice. We'll talk a little bit about the Skyhawks and what they have going on, which will lead us into some Hawks talk. They love to make it interesting late, so we will have to talk about that. And then Chris Sale was actually introduced today with the Braves. We'll talk about what he had to say and whatnot. But let's start with the Pro Bowl. The Falcons had two guys named. So you had safety Jesse Bates. It was his first ever selection, which is huge and much deserved. I mean, he's totally transformed this defense, Ellie.
He's been the best part of the defense, arguably the best part of the Falcons season in general.
Correct. I agree, 100%.
He's sort of been the Falcons MVP, really, which I guess says a lot about the Falcons offense. But, you know, this defense has been the bright spot of the team, and Jesse Bates has been the bright spot of the defense.
And he's just someone that's easy to talk to, too. He's always welcoming in the locker room, always giving input and insight. So love to see that happen for a guy of that caliber. And then you had guard Chris Lindstrom. It is his second selection. But that was pretty much it for the Falcons. Yeah, they had some guys that were reserves, but we won't get into all the nitty-gritty of that. I do want to talk about people who should have been in, according to ESPN, and you tell me what you think. So safety Antoine Winfield Jr. with the Bucks. ESPN believes he should have got in over Budda Baker. Now, I think the safety position is one of the hardest to essentially quantify of how to get in. I think Jesse Bates, for the evolution of what he's done for the Falcons, was an easy shoo-in. And I could see Antoine Winfield getting that, getting the nod there. This is one I think is interesting that I want your input on.
Yeah, I think Budda Baker, in as much as a safety can get in on name recognition, got in on name recognition this year. Antoine Winfield Jr. should definitely be in that spot, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. The other one of who should be in is Josh Allen over Tua Tagovailoa. Now, keep in mind, Allen has thrown 16 interceptions. I feel like this could really either go either way. They're saying that Allen has a better QBR, but
that's a made-up stat by ESPN. That's a number that means nothing. Tua has led this Dolphins team to almost the NFC East title. Could very well get the number 2 seed if they beat the Bills on Sunday. And I don't think that this was something that a lot of people expected out of him. Leading this offense, the Dolphins offense, in the way that he has. Whereas, okay, we all expected a great season out of Josh Allen because throughout his career, he has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. With the exception of, like, his rookie season. So, yeah, I get giving Tua his flowers for, hey, great season, nice job blowing past the expectations, even if it is really, living up to the hype of when he was drafted.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you. This is another one that I find really interesting as well. Dustin Hopkins should have replaced Justin Tucker. Now, I covered Cleveland, so maybe I feel some type of way about this, but they went through Cade York. They drafted him from LSU in the 3rd round. It did not go as planned. They did not have a kicker. Dustin Hopkins comes in. He makes some clutch kicks to help them win some games. I get Justin Tucker is a legend, but how much of this pick is because he's a legend year after year after year and not necessarily in the 2023 season? I'm not saying he's not good in the 2023 season. It's just comparatively, it'd be nice to see someone else get in.
Yeah, it would be nice to see somebody else get in. And as you said, Dustin Hopkins has made some clutch kicks. This Browns season looks really differently if he misses those. Looks way differently. We're not talking about the Browns being in position for a playoff spot. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns being in position for a playoff spot.
They're secured in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs with Joe Flacco and Dustin Hawkins is a not insignificant part of that.
No, no. So we all know Ellie is a Bears fan. So we talk about it a lot on this show. I want to gauge your opinion of if this person should be in or not. TJ Edwards.
That's a very good question. I'm going to lean no.
Okay. What about DJ Moore? He was even tweeting today. He was so heated about it.
Yeah, DJ Moore should be in. I'm just going to say it, yes. The Bears' offense sucks. He's the best part of it.
And
sorry, not sorry.
And he was not in. Tough scene. All right, let's switch gears now to talk a little bit about the Skyhawks. They are obviously right here on Peachtree TV and Peachtree Sports Network, and we love to watch them. We had some time to catch up with head coach Ryan Schmidt. What a lot of people don't know about his coaching role, and it's a big reason he took this job, is he works directly with the Atlanta Hawks under Quinn Snyder. So even last night when I was at the Thunder game, he was there on the sideline taking everything in. He's a huge reason for development and the guys who are in the G League. It's really interesting. Last night even you saw Trent Forrest, who was on the court, and he was getting out there, getting valuable minutes. That's because of what they're doing with the Skyhawks. And we had an opportunity to actually sit on one of his practices and hear kind of how he takes the reins of everything.
Good. Next group. Good. Run them off, get back. Good. Next group, let's go. Good, Seth. Good. Get there. Good. Charge! Good. Job, Seth. Good job. Here, good job. Here we go. Red zone D. Skip. Good, drive it. Good, back. Just grab a ball. 2 lines on the baseline. Hands are up. Here we go. Good. Next group. Okay, on the dribble, they're taking 2. You're coming back in. Rear view, second effort is left to right. Okay, here we go. Good, got flag, good. Next group, let's go. Okay, we're not fouling 3-point shooters. Here we go. Good, Colt. Good. Nice. Here we go. Good job.
Very cool to spend some time with them out there at the practice facility. What's really interesting is to be able to see guys go from the G League to the Hawks and really find
like
a lot
Jalen Johnson and Trent Forrest.
Yeah, and really find a lot of success, to be honest. It's very, very cool. Jalen Johnson is someone we have to talk about, especially with the Thunder. They beat the Thunder 141-138 last night, and they made it really close in the fourth. But let me tell you, Jalen Johnson is a guy who is a must-watch.
Out lately.
He really has, and he had some massive dunks. The Hawks have had a lot of trade rumors surrounding DeJounte Murray the most. And with that, with Jalen Johnson's production, I find it interesting if they were to try and get some more pieces and increase the role that Jalen Johnson is having, because he made it very clear last night he can take that role, and he can be a guy that's a go-to, good power forward. I mean, and his dunks. I mean, he had one over Chet Holmgren that was just dirty last night.
That dunk was so nice.
So nice. I was pretty baffled by it. It's funny because when talking to Jalen throughout the week, he said one day that they when he was young, his dad would always tell him, hey, just go throw it down. And he kind of just took him literally and kept throwing it down every day. And now it's in the league. And it was funny because I asked Quinn Snyder about it last night. I was curious, his dad loves it, he loves it, but as a head coach, what do you think? And he's like, well, it's pretty efficient. There's times where it didn't look like he was going to quite get there, but was able to just elongate his body and make it happen. The team loves it. They're going to love his progression. But I'm eager to see how he continues to evolve throughout the season.
Absolutely.
Well, and with post game last night, we were able to talk to Quinn Snyder and Trey Young and Jalen. Let's hear from them following that game.
Obviously, Alexander's tough to handle when he gets going. I thought, when JJ got into foul trouble, there was a stretch there where we had a really hard time getting stops, but we kept our composure and I think got the lead back to double digits, and then obviously at the end of the game we held on. So it was, like I said, it's a good win and a home win.
Coach, obviously JJ had an amazing game today. We all know how athletic he is, but are there any other aspects of his game that you've seen thus far this season that you're really, really impressed with that he's improving thus far?
Well, his, whether you want to call it playmaking or facilitating, I think he's getting more and more comfortable, and our team is getting more comfortable with him having the ball in his hands, whether it's transition or in situations tonight where they were coming to double team and trying to impact our guards. He's capable of making plays and making plays for other people as well, which is something that I think he's, you've seen him do that, in practice settings, but I think his comfort and his confidence, doing those things in a game, against a good team, that's something that's unique to him with his size and his athleticism, as you mentioned. And the other thing, we want to continue to use him defensively in various matchups, and he's learning to do that as well, learning to play out on the floor more, guard the ball more, and that's tough because sometimes it puts him in some situations. But he didn't really foul when he was guarding the ball. He had some help situations, and those were tough situations, some tough calls. I'm not saying he didn't foul, but I don't know what kind of advantage was gained. We just have to be more disciplined in those situations, and he does, obviously, because we need him.
Trent played 14 minutes, was out there for the final play. What did you see from him in this game?
Well, we have a lot of confidence in Trent, and he really knows who he is as a player. That we felt, along with JJ, that Trent was a good matchup, where we had, the opportunity to, during various rotation situations, we needed a matchup on Shea, and Trent was able to, to defend without fouling. And then on the offensive end, he's capable of getting in the lane and making plays. He's got a lot of poise in the lane, and he made his floater a couple times. And I think our coaching staff and his teammates as well, have a lot of confidence in him. And we've had a number of guys like that, whether it's Patty or Wes, Garrison, Trent, guys that have come in different times for different matchups, different reasons, different games. And for those guys to be able to produce like that when they're called on has been really, really good for our team. And as I said, they're all different. Tonight was a night that we felt like Trent could give us something unique, and he did.
During the break, during the third quarter, how pleased were you with the guys for not losing focus or momentum?
It was good. I think when we have some empty possessions offensively, and they were able to convert, I felt like we did a really good job early getting back in transition, and then there were a number of situations where we either gave up open looks or gave up the rim, right away early in a possession, and don't give ourselves a chance to guard. So I thought we corrected that. Would like to correct it more, but enough where we were able to make some shots and re-extend the lead. So we did a good job of keeping our poise in those situations.
Coach, JJ has talked in depth about his dad always pushing him when he was young to now to just throwing it down. He loves to dunk. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts when you see him throw some of those slams down tonight?
They're efficient, It's, he doesn't need to lay it in unless he has to. And I think his balance, as he's attacking the rim, is unique. I thought there were a couple of times tonight when he couldn't get all the way, and he did a great job of staying under control and finishing over the top of somebody. So, guys have a lot of confidence in whether it's transition or in the half court to make the right play. And the dunking is a good play.
I know you talked over here. You talked a little bit after the game in D.C. about how it didn't really follow the same form as the previous struggles late in the game. And tonight was kind of more like that, where you were holding on. Mm-hmm. What do you kind of attribute that whole sequence to at the very end, where obviously you got out of there with a win, but it wasn't the cleanest?
Well, I think when you're ahead and if a team gets you on your heels, in JJ's case, there was a couple times he didn't want to foul. And if that is the case with any of us, when someone's got their head down and they're going full speed in transition, you can't guard them one-on-one. And we just have to, shift to the point where they see bodies and don't allow them to get through those gaps. And, when you, in that time when you have a lead, the offense is just in full-blown attack mode, and it takes more. More urgency, even if you score, to get back. There were a few times, we hit a shot and then they're back and they score in, 6-7 seconds. And those possessions are tough. Tonight we did enough offensively to give a cushion. Some of that will happen to a degree, but, we've got to do a better job. We did a great job at the end of the half, and that mindset, I think, it's a collective focus that you have to have.
What did you think of Jalen's dunks, and did you have a favorite, and what did you think about him going behind the back up for that dunk?
Oh, that was clean. That was a clean move. What I think about it, I got my standards high for Jalen. So, the dunk he had a couple of games ago was crazy. Tonight was crazy. I thought he was about to have 2 of them on Chet, but no, that's just what he does. He's athletic, and sometimes I'm scared when he goes up and gets hit and falls like that, but that's just what he does. You gotta live with the results, because sometimes he dunks on people a lot.
Trey, you guys started off 11-0 to this game on a run. How much of that start offensively do you think contributed to the way you guys finished and held on throughout 4 quarters?
Yeah, sometimes it's scary getting those leads, to be honest with you, because it's a game of runs. It's a game of runs, and when you get on the run, sometimes it's just a natural habit to relax, and I don't think we relaxed. I think we had a solid lead throughout the whole game, and just late again in the game, they played more aggressive, and we were playing too much, trying not to foul and give them man ones and things like that, and not as aggressive as we were the first 3 quarters. And maybe it was because they was in the bonus early in the 4th and didn't want to give them free throws, but we still got to be more aggressive. And just late in games when they're trapping me, guys got to continue to be aggressive, and we'll continue to get better at it. And like I said in there, I'm just glad we can learn off a win.
I don't want to jump the gun, but do you guys think that this creates a different narrative for winning at home when it comes to momentum at home?
Nah, it's just one game. It's just one game. You can't get too high or too low. It's not like we've strung together 5-10 wins here. So we got to continue to take it one game at a time. And I know we got a lot of home games this month, so we got a chance to really put a stamp on our home court advantage this month. And but not just after one game. We got to do it consistently.
Trey, earlier this week you talked about JJ, really hitting that ceiling, finding that potential. Career high 28 tonight. How did it feel on the court? Did it feel like he was inching closer to maybe what you've been talking about?
Yeah, for sure. He's gonna get career highs every night this year. It's not gonna be surprising just because this is really first year really getting to play a lot, and you can tell from the work he's been putting in what it's translating to. And like I said last game, the more reps he plays, the more comfortable he's going to get. So it's just continuing to get him more reps and more shots and more touches in the game, and he'll continue to surprise even more people. And he's going to continue to get better, and he's going to have more career high nights like tonight.
Trey, I know you spoke at practice about kind of keeping those turnovers down and kind of taking care of the ball more. Just when you watch film, can you see or pinpoint something that's kind of causing those for you? Is it just kind of?
No, for me as a PG, I don't mind taking risks. I think my teammates that I've played with over the years, they understand. I don't mind taking risks, and sometimes that's why we can get out to 12, 15-point leads because we're sneaking up at 3 and I'm throwing it ahead and trying to throw it full court to get my teammate a quick basket. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I think like tonight I got a turnover trying to throw a lob. Just trying to get him the ball and get him involved, and it was a turnover on me. And sometimes I will live with things like that. I mean, the ones I can't live with is the ones where I'm just throwing it right to the defense and they're going out in transition. And so I got to be better in certain areas for sure when it comes to that. But at the same time, I'm going to have a lot of turnovers because I do take risks and I'm trying to get my teammates involved. So I got to live with some, but at the same time, I still want to continue to get better at that too.
This night's of a career, it's like a career night for you. What was it like for you, man? How did it feel for you out there?
It felt good. It felt good to get the win. I think that was the most important thing coming into the night. And then my teammates just finding me in the right spots, creating looks for me, and just letting me capitalize. So I wouldn't have got that without them.
Jalen, I wanted to ask you about those steals that you had. You had 4 steals today. And you had that one where you just took the ball from Josh Giddey. Just what did you see out there on the defensive end, and how were you able to make that impact?
Just being in the gaps because they're a heavy drive team. So, and then late in the game I had 5 fouls, so I didn't want to pick up and foul out on that last one. So just showing my hands, letting him create the contact, and then he just lost the ball. So yeah.
Jalen, there was the one play that you fell on. What was it that seemed to slow you for a few seconds there? And then on the subsequent play where you went back and just did a dunk the second time a few moments later, what's sort of the thought process you're going up for that?
I mean, it's just an open lane. Kind of you see a wide open lane, and you can jump like so I just took advantage of it, created something out of it. But yeah.
Any more questions?
Gwen was talking earlier today about obviously nobody likes to lose at home. Does a game like this against a quality team, you think it can be something to help you turn around what has been a slow start for this team at home? Yeah, no, I think it's huge, especially to start off the new year with the win, and then stopping there. They had a 5-game streak coming in into here tonight, so just being able to get a win, start the new year off right. I think it was a great start for our team, and hopefully we get something going out of it.
Despite the win, close down the stretch there in the 4th, who steps up in those moments and says, let's stop this and make this big play coming down to it?
I think it's all of us, especially during timeouts. I think just kind of, taking a deep breath, not getting too riled up in those situations because a lot of times, momentum can shift during those moments. So just staying grounded, coming together even more, understanding what we need to do and execute.
Jalen, you had a career-high 24 points in Washington the other day, and then 28 tonight. You don't see that often in back-to-back games. When that's happening, you're just like, oh, this is happening again, or you just feel like this is just regular basketball for you?
Honestly, I'm just out there playing. And like I said, my teammates, they're great playmakers, so playing with them, they create a lot of easy looks for me and make my life a whole lot easier with that. So, yeah.
Going off of that as well, when you're out there, does it just feel easier? And what do you notice more, your confidence rising or your comfortability within the team?
I think it's all the above, to be honest. This year playing a lot more minutes, so I think just getting comfortable within the game, understanding the NBA game a lot more, understanding where I can take advantage of certain areas. I think I'm just getting a lot smarter as the games and days go on. I think that's a huge thing for me.
And don't forget, pretty much every Friday of the new year, you can hop on Peachtree TV to watch those Hawks games right here with us. Atlanta News First, Peachtree TV. We're going to have you all covered. The Braves, switching to some Braves talk because they finally introduced left-handed pitcher Chris Sale earlier today. And Elliot, was an interesting Zoom. He's a very honest guy. If you don't know much about Chris Sale, there's a lot of stories around the league about him being just a great teammate.
Having grown up a White Sox fan, I've got quite a few stories.
So you get it. You get it. He's one of those guys that's not afraid to speak his feelings.
He's a very mercurial person. Of course, there's the story of him cutting the jerseys with scissors. This was back in like 2015 or something. He had the incident where he just cut the White Sox throwback jerseys with scissors. So he's quite the character.
He is. So the Braves gave him a 2-year, $38 million extension. He becomes part of their rotation. There was a lot of Boston Red Sox reporters on the Zoom. And one of them just asked him, like, how he would sum up his most recent times with Boston. And he, in a nutshell, said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was a disaster. That's not far off. I think you guys know me. I'm going to speak the truth. He was actually a little surprised that he was traded to the Braves for the mere fact that he just thought he was going to go about his 2024 season with the Red Sox, and this is kind of how it panned out. But he said he thought that 100% that this was the right fit to be with Atlanta, Ellie.
Yeah, and they, in addition to giving him the extension, they restructured his current contract a bit. So his contract with the Red Sox was $10 million deferred out to 2039. The new contract front loads all of that, so it's basically $17 million this year, $17 million next year, and a option for 2026 rather. So giving a little bit more flexibility to both Sale himself and the Braves.
Correct. Which they could use.
Yes, definitely.
Long term.
Especially since you've got, you've really only got Spencer Strider as the only. Spencer Strider is really the only known quantity in this rotation because you've got Max Fried, you've got Charlie Martin, who is old, and Chris Sale is not exactly made of stone either.
Chris Sale even made the joke today. He's like, I got to talk to Charlie about how he stays young and keeps his body healthy. So we'll see how it all pans out. Chris does say that he feels healthy and ready to go, and it's the first real off season he's had. So we will see how he looks during spring training. How we always wrap up here, what's on your mind? Ellie, we'll start with you.
Kirk Herbstreit thinks the national championship should always be at the Rose Bowl. He is wrong. What are we doing here? No. Shut up.
Do you not like
It's
the Rose Bowl?
stupid.
What's your grief with the Rose Bowl? Everyone who goes loves it.
As a permanent site for the national championship? No.
I do like the rotation of the national championship, getting all the other places, switching it up. But I've never covered anything, granted the Rose Bowl out there, but I've heard it's an amazing, beautiful venue.
Imagine if you had
the best.
Last year we had the national championship at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Anyone who's ever flown from Atlanta to Los Angeles will tell you, good God, that's a long flight.
It's haul.
Exhausting.
It's a haul.
It just, for a lot of East Coast teams, especially teams in the South, that's going to be an exhausting journey. It moving around doesn't give a de facto advantage to, teams, west of the Appalachian Mountains. So, no. It can have the Rose Bowl.
I'm with you. Let's keep it at other venues as well. What's on my mind? I am a hockey girl. We've talked about it. And there's a big matchup tonight, literally starting here in a few minutes between the Bruins and the Penguins. Or, yes, I wanted to say Pirates for a second, but that's a different sport, so there I am, my mind. Brad Marchand talked with Pat McAfee about matching up with Sidney Crosby and saying that he's not going to mess with Sid the Kid at all.
Could you imagine Brad Marchand licking Sidney Crosby?
Yes, I can, and I would love it.
No,
I would love it.
No.
I'm a big Brad Marchand gal, which is probably not, is frowned upon, quite frankly, because people don't like Brad Marchand, but that's okay. I like Marshy. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch that game tonight and see how it pans out. It's always a great matchup. So we will see what happens. That will do it for this edition of Sports Tonight. For Ellie Parker, I'm Bailey Burmaster. Join us. We got one more coming your way on Friday.